Hello, third grade. You have been working on several different vocabulary words this week. We're going to take just a second to review those words. So your first word that you've been looking at is apprehensive. Remember, if you are apprehensive, you are worried that something bad might happen. So our sentence says, Elias is apprehensive about the trip because he doesn't like planes. The next word you've been working on is technical. The technical part of a sport are the basic skills and understanding that are needed to play. So the sentence that goes along with technical says, at baseball practice, we worked on technical skills like hitting. Next, you had the word deflected. In the word deflected, we found out that it meant that something that was moving, you made it go in a different direction. So our sentence says, Melly reached out and deflected the paper airplane towards Liz. Okay, next we had the word competition. The word competition meant that you were in a contest against another person or team. And for the sentence it says, we watched an exciting competition between two tennis champions. Next we had the word intercepted. If you intercepted something, you stopped it from getting to where it was going. Our sentence says, Janelle intercepted the ball so the other team didn't score. And our last vocabulary word that we've been talking about is sprawling. If you move in a sprawling way, you spread out your arms and legs. So the sentence for sprawling says, Peter's sprawling body took up all of the beach towel. So we're going to take a look at just a few sentences, and I want you to think the vocabulary words that we just discussed. I want you to think about the meaning of the word that we're going to talk about in the sentence. So number one, if you are apprehensive about an event, you may be. So take a second to think about what that might mean. You're right, you might be nervous. Okay, number two, learning technical parts of a sport is important because. So think about that. Why would learning technical parts of a sport be important? Right, if you said something like it might help you become a better player, that was a great use of thinking about the meaning of that word technical that we just talked about. Number three, you would be glad that someone deflected a baseball if. So think about the meaning of the word deflected. Why would you be glad that someone deflected a baseball? Exactly. The one that I was thinking of was if the baseball is coming towards my head, I would want someone to deflect it and make it go in a different direction. Number four, during a competition, two teams are exactly competing. We're going against each other. Number five, it might be a problem if you intercepted a message meant for someone else because. Why would it be a problem if you intercepted a message you weren't supposed to see? Right, that message might have been a secret or something kind of private. Last one, number six. If you make sprawling movements, your arms and legs. Right, so let's take a quick look back at sprawling. Remember, sprawling meant that you were spread. Your arms and legs are spread out, so your body would take up the whole beach towel. So if you make sprawling movements, your arms and legs are very spread out. Okay, third grade, we are getting ready to shift focus over to the story that we've been reading this week. Okay, so we have been taking a look at teamwork, and we've been reading the story, The Soccer Shootout. Okay, now this starts in your My Book on page 373. But today I want you to go to page 374. Okay. When you get to page 374, I want you just to pause, and we're going to quickly talk about literary elements and the four elements that make up all narrative stories. So the first thing that we have are characters. We know that characters are the people and animals in a story. So we think about things like, what do they say and think? What do they do? What do other characters say and think about them? Okay, then we have setting. We know that setting is where and when the story takes place. The setting affects the plot because certain events happen in certain settings. It also affects the plot by creating the mood of the story. And then we have the word plot itself. So plot is made up of a conflict and resolution. When we think about conflict, we think about the main problem that the characters face. And then when we think about resolution, we think about the word solution or how the conflict or problem is solved. So last, as we're thinking about plot and characters and setting, there have to be events in the story that help those characters find the problem and reach a solution. So events in a story are the things that happen in a story. So events change a character, they can affect the mood of the story, or they just build the plot and again help the story to keep moving. So right now, I want you in your My Book to read pages 374 through 376. I want you to pause this video and go ahead and read those pages. Unpause the video when you have finished. Okay, so friends, now that you have read pages 374 through 376, I want you to think about who are the major and minor characters and why. So who are the major characters, who are the minor characters, and why? So go ahead and share your answers with me. What are you thinking? I agree with you. We know that Burke is a major character because the story is all about him. Okay, then we have Peter, Ryan, and the coach. And we know that they're important characters, but the story isn't all about them. So that would make them minor characters, right? So we know that Burke and Ryan, they really want to be goalkeeper, but they have different skills, so they have to compete. Okay, so Ryan is kind of a character who helps keep the story moving for Burke and maybe helps him find a change, right? Or help him learn a lesson. So now I want you to think about this question. How will the differences between the two characters change the plot? How will the differences between those two characters, Burke and Ryan, change the plot or affect the plot? Okay, share with me your thinking. But I agree with you. So we know that both of those characters, like I said, they want to be goalkeeper, right? But they each have very different skills. So we're going to see some effects on the plot as those two characters have to compete. And they're going to learn some lessons, right, about competition and each other as they compete to find out who's going to become goalkeeper. So now I want you to think, what is the setting on the pages that you read? What is the setting for the pages that you read? Okay, right, they're on the soccer field. So why is this setting so important? Why is this setting important for a story about soccer? Exactly. So since all the action takes place on the field or near that soccer field, it's where the characters are going to compete as well, right? So that setting just makes sense. It's where the characters will learn a lesson. It's where that change will happen for the characters. Okay, guys, thank you for your hard work. I want you to continue your work today with the story Soccer Shootout.